Hey dog lovers, this is Have Dog Will Travel, and I am Josh Henry here with our special guest, Brian Beegle. Brian, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
We're at Tucker Brewing Company in Tucker, Georgia, and they're having a dog-themed trivia night. So we're here talking to folks about their favorite places to take their dogs, what kind of dogs they have, and all that kind of stuff. And Brian seemed like the likeliest choice for a guest host. Christy's out of town. Her big girl job, she got a promotion, and so she's out doing some fancy things in Colorado. And Brian's last name is Beegle, so it just seemed...
It's a natural, selection.
Yeah, it's just a perfect fit.
Yeah, having second place, so I happen to be here.
So, Brian, tell us a bit more about you. Are you a dog owner?
Yeah, I've pretty much been a dog owner my whole life.
Okay, so you grew up with dogs.
Yeah, I remember my first dog, my dad's favorite dog, right? The dog's name was Puff. Yeah. It was
They could go a number of ways.
A yellow lab, but yeah. Well, my dad, he was a child of the '60s. So.
something of an old hippie.
Yeah, I remember a big yellow lab that was bigger than me. It was just a great dog,
Nice.
Then I had a dog named Blitz when I was a kid, a chocolate lab.
Okay.
And he was a hunting dog.
Blitz.
Yeah, so he was a super smart hunting dog. I trained him off this book called Water Dog, which there's another version of that book called Family Dog, and it's an awesome book to train your dog with. You don't have to have a hunting dog or anything.
Wait, so you read this book
and
learned to
when
train
I was a kid,
your dog to be a hunting dog?
Yes, so I could go around the house and walk all the way around the house, and my dog would still be sitting waiting for me, even though it was a puppy. But it doesn't matter what kind of dog. If you get this book, Family Dog, it can really help you. So that's one nice thing to know. Like, it doesn't matter what kind. It's a neat book to help train your dog.
Family Dog.
Family Dog.
All right.
Anyway.
And you have dogs now.
I do. So my girlfriend Kerry, when she moved in, I inherited her two dogs,
Okay.
Abby and Sophie, and they're pit mixes, and they're the sweetest, nicest dogs. They're hilarious. I actually call them hogs because they kind of take up a little bit of everything, and it's really, really awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, I actually I had my dog Blitz. I had him his sperm frozen on ice when he was 12.
I don't want to know how you got it.
Well, my dad is a farm, right? And
Okay.
so we have a vet that comes down and he works with the insemination with the larger animals. But so for our dog, we have this champion dog, this amazing dog named Blitz, right?
Yeah.
And so he offered he said we can freeze the sperm, but he's 12. So he said, his boys may not be swimming, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I took him to the vet one day and dropped him off. And naturally, I went over to Chick-fil-A and I waited for the call to see if it was going to be a positive or negative, to see if his boys were still swimming.
I'll just see you chilling at Chick-fil-A.
And the very first thing, having like frosted lemonade, And the very first thing, the vet called and he said, "Well, I'm very impressed." And it was hilarious because for the first time ever, it was appropriate for me to just stand up and go, "It's my dog. That's my dog." And that's true. That's a true story. So,
I believe it.
For like 12 years, my dog's sperm was on ice, and we ended up not doing it just because that's crazy.
We held on to it for 12 years.
But
we need some room in the freezer. Let's toss.
No, we didn't keep it ourselves. It wasn't next to the icy pops or anything. And maybe that story was true. Maybe it wasn't.
I choose to believe it's true because I like it. That's a fun one.
It's true.
So there's an Atlanta United game on. So in addition to the dog trivia, people are kind of going ape shit.
Goal! They scored right then.
Go
right
Atlanta
at
United.
the end of the story.
But so that's an awesome story. So the dogs you guys have now, do you travel with them or do you take them places?
Oh yeah, they go everywhere with us. It's family. They're like family. So they take us places pretty much.
Yeah, nice. Have you had any big trips with them yet?
We went on a ski trip last year. They didn't go skiing themselves, but we went up to North Carolina to Cataloochee, and they stayed at the cabin and went all through the snow while we were out skiing. It was pretty funny to watch them do that.
Nice.
But they've lived all over the country, so yeah, they're pretty neat. We have visitors right now. They're tugging on our dog.
Yeah, Stella's tail is kicking the crap out of the microphone stand. So if you're hearing that, that's what that is.
That was my tail, Josh.
So if you could take the pups anywhere in the world, where would you take them and why?
All right, I'm going to say Hawaii because that's they would love that place so much. And it's just really curious. I'm curious to see when Kerry shows up when my girlfriend Kerry shows up if she says Hawaii too.
Yeah.
So you have to ask her that question.
Okay, we will.
And let's see what she says.
Do they do well in the car on the road trips?
Oh yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
chill?
Yeah, they're both 11 years old, but they're really healthy. She scrapes their teeth and everything, and really like.
She's a good dog
really,
mom.
oh my gosh, we keep them young, So, yeah, they travel really well. They're really funny dogs.
Nice. That's awesome. What's your favorite place in the Atlanta area to take your dogs?
Peachtree Hills Park is this neat little park, and it's not technically an off-leash park, but people let their dogs run around outside the fence there, and it's a really neat spot. It's almost like the dogs know each other there, so every dog that comes there is really comfortable, and every owner is really comfortable with just letting their dogs run around.
I think we just scored again.
Go! Anyway.
Oh, even Stella's excited.
So Stella agrees. But the Chattahoochee, all along, there's so many great trails and so many great places along, even Morningside, there's a little park there. There's all kinds of great places to take your dog.
Yeah, Atlanta's a really great dog-friendly city, generally speaking. There's a lot of green space where dogs are welcome. And generally speaking, in most restaurants and bars that have a patio, at least let the dog on the patio.
Yeah, Treehouse Lounge. That's one of the best places to take your dogs in Atlanta. It's this hidden spot in Buckhead, in the middle of the the forest in Buckhead. You would never expect it, and it's a great spot that allows dogs there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Brian. Any other crazy dog stories you'd like to share?
No. That I enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks a bunch. All right, so tell us your name and tell us about your dogs.
So my name is Kelly, and this is Addie Kate. She
Hi, Addie
turned 6 months this week.
Cutie.
And we have a pit bull mix at home that was rescued from Panama City, Florida. My husband was on spring break, of all things, in college, and came home with a puppy that probably should not have been away from its mom that young.
Aww.
He claims he could carry him in his pocket under the shorts. And we're lucky that we had 5 nieces and nephews that he's been around. So when Addie Kate came along 6 months ago, he was already a natural at being around babies and being very gentle and sweet with them.
So what's your pup's name?
Chongo.
Chongo, and it's a boy?
It's a boy.
Nice. So how long have y'all had Chongo?
8 years.
8 years? All right. And do you travel with Chongo?
Chongo goes everywhere with us.
Yeah? That's awesome.
He actually goes to work every day with my husband.
Really? What does your husband do for work?
He and his family started a family business up in Beaufort, so he is their shop mascot.
Okay. That's fantastic. And there's so much pandemonium going on. Where's your favorite place that you've ever taken Chongo?
Oh my goodness. Probably the lake. He loves going to the lake.
Which lake?
What's the one up in Lanier?
Okay, yeah, like Lanier up in the Gainesville, Hall County area.
Yep.
Perfect. And have you ever done any big, long road trips or outside of the state trips with Chongo?
He goes to the mountains with us sometimes.
Yeah?
That's about it.
Likes to hike?
He does well. Yeah, does well in the car. We flip the seats down in the Jeep and put his bed in there, and he just lays down in his bed.
And find the bears.
That is very true.
He's a bear hunter.
He did go missing one day when we were in the mountains. We always just let him out the back door. We don't have to worry because he always comes back. But this time he didn't, so we had to go hunting for him.
Aw.
Very important. Chongo does not live on a leash at all.
Yeah? He's never on a leash. He's such a good dog that if you tell him to come here or stop, he immediately listens and
That's awesome.
comes
That's
right
great.
back.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Stella's getting there because she's certainly sweet enough, but if she wasn't leashed right now, she'd probably be in everyone's business here.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
This takes a lot of training to be able to handle the situation. I'm an adult and I'm looking around at everything.
Yeah, overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Well, if you guys could take Chongo anywhere in the world, where would you take him and why?
Ooh. I'd love to see him in snow.
Yeah?
So somewhere with snow, I would say.
Okay. He hasn't had a chance he hasn't caught any of the snows that have hit Georgia?
I think once. And that's about it.
He's been in the snow a couple of times and really, really enjoys it, but it was real foreign to him the first time, as most Georgians it is foreign to.
Right, yeah. He's lived his whole life in Georgia, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah. So snow's definitely a big deal.
Central to northern Georgia, pretty much. where he's been around.
And is this your first time at Tucker Brewing Company?
Not at all. We come here quite often.
Yeah, you regulars here?
I think Addie came the first time when she was about 7 weeks old.
Okay.
So
Nice.
our excuse to get out of the house
Excellent.
and play with other dogs.
Well, it was a pleasure talking to y'all, and thank you so much.
Not a problem. It was nice meeting with you
Nice
too.
to meet you, Eddie Kate.
Goodbye. Oh, goodness.
All right, so tell us your name and your dog, and tell us about your dog.
My name is Monty. My dog's name is Moxie. She's a beautiful golden retriever. She's 2.5, and I take her just about everywhere I possibly can.
Okay.
I take her to Tucker Brewery. I take her to Fetch Park in Atlanta, where she gets to roam around with other dogs, and Mom gets to have some suds. And I take her swimming. My friends have pools, and they all let her come swimming.
She's
She
a
loves
big
to
swimmer?
swim. She loves to swim.
Nice.
We go camping. We go hiking.
Okay.
I take her to people's houses for birthday parties, and a lot of times if I show up without her, people will get upset that I didn't bring her because she's very well behaved.
Sure.
Her mom and dad and her brother belong to some friends of mine in Dahlonega, so we all go camping together.
Okay.
So they all get to hang out together with her parents and her siblings. So that's fun.
She's your ride and die pup. She's
Pretty much.
always at your side.
Pretty much, yeah.
Love it.
It's just me and her, and so yeah.
So I want to talk a bit more about the camping. Tell me a bit. We haven't really had a chance on the podcast thus far to discuss camping with your dog, and I've taken Stella on a camping trip, but we haven't really talked about it. Do you have any tips that you would like to share with our audience about do's and don'ts?
We typically have an outdoor rug, and then we put what we call an X-pen around so that the dogs can lay around in the shade and not have to be, and they can be near everybody because they typically have to be on a leash. But at least you have them in a pen, and they can be free to roam around.
Sure.
And they get to enjoy the outdoors like everybody else and not be on a leash. Always take lots of food and water, obviously. And keep them cool, but watch for ticks and just other people that don't take care of their dogs, and always, of course, pick up after your dogs.
Of course, yeah.
Wherever you go.
You would think it's obvious, but
You would think.
unfortunately it really isn't.
And typically that's what ruins it for those of us who do. Like beaches, I take her to the beach. We've been to St. Augustine. I have a place at Tybee, and we go down there. But she's not allowed on the beach at Tybee because other people didn't pick up after their dogs. So
People
now there's
always
a
ruin it for
fine.
everyone else.
If you're seen on the beach with your dog, it used to be $200. Now it's $1,000 if you have your dog on the beach down there. So, always pick up after your dog.
Yeah, for sure. The ticks are important too. People, I think, especially in the city, don't realize when they go, because I grew up in the country, so it's kind of second nature to me. But I think when people are, from the city and they go up to, Blue Ridge or wherever and they go camping, they forget about the tick situation.
Right.
And so my mom still lives up in North Georgia, and when I take Stella there, I got her watched. And I think after the first time I took her there as a bigger pup, and she was running around, I gave her a bath that night, and literally there was 3 ticks that I found on her. So you gotta be aware that that's a thing, and that can make them very sick as well.
Yeah, you have to check them. You have to roll them over, check under their thighs and their legs and their
Under the ears, yep.
all that.
Well, if you could take Moxie anywhere in the world, where would you take her and why?
I would probably take her to Ireland.
Okay.
Because I figure there's probably some pubs there we could go inside and drink beer.
Nice. Yeah. Europe, it turns out, is really generally very dog friendly.
Is it?
There are actually
Yeah.
restaurants you can take your dog in off leash. You can sit at the table like a
that's
regular
the way it
person
should
and
be.
just. Yeah,
Yes.
I
We're getting there
completely agree.
slowly around in some areas, but more people and more places are becoming more dog friendly and having outdoor areas where you can at least bring your dog. Because, for a lot of us, they're our children.
Absolutely.
And we like to, I don't like to leave her at home.
Yep, that's if they're not, even for people that have children, which I don't, like, she's my baby girl, but
Right.
They're still family.
Absolutely.
And more people that we talk to have that same sentiment as far as business owners that, well, we want you to bring your family here and this be a place you can all enjoy, so why would we not welcome dogs?
Where I work now, I'm allowed to take her on Saturdays when I work. She goes with me to work.
That's great.
And,
What a blessing.
So.
Do you have a favorite place in this area that you like to take her?
Probably Fetch Park.
Yeah.
Would be one
You
of
would
my
think.
favorites.
We've been in touch with them, and we were trying to work out an episode with them, but we still haven't been able to get over there and talk to the folks at Fetch. But
Yeah, it's
over
really
and
nice.
over and over, someone mentions Fetch,
Yeah,
so
it's nice.
it's almost becoming a running
It
joke.
was a brilliant idea. It
Yeah?
was a really
Oh, yeah.
brilliant idea.
It's
And they
a
did
really
it well.
cool
They
spot.
did it right.
Yeah.
They did it right.
We'll get there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking
Sure.
to us. I appreciate it. It was lovely to meet you.
You're welcome.
Have fun.
So tell us your name.
Karen.
How's it going?
It's good. How about you?
I'm well, thank you. You have 4 dogs.
I do.
Tell me about them.
They're crazy.
Is that what are their names?
We have Stitch and Scooter and Prince and Cinny.
So which is the wildest of the 4?
Probably Cindy.
Why would you say that?
She's a pit bull and she's just crazy.
So tell me about your dogs. Where did you get them? What's their story?
Pretty much all of them are rescues that we have found in various places and couldn't find their owners.
Uh-huh.
So we kept them.
Wow, those are the most grateful kind.
Yeah.
And and how old are your dogs?
They are 6, 8, 8, and 10.
You're here in Atlanta?
Right here in Tucker.
What's your favorite place to take the dogs?
I only take like one at a time.
Why do you laugh? Is that
Because I don't take them any places.
you have an awesome laugh?
Oh, thank you. I'll take them to like events, like Tucker Days, or I thought about bringing one tonight, but then I decided not to.
So what's Tucker Days? Why is that a special thing to take the dogs to?
They have vendors that sell crafts and stuff, and people bring their dogs and just walk up and down Main Street.
That's fun. Do you travel with them?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay. Okay. If you could take your dogs anywhere in the world, where would you take them?
Probably to the beach.
To the beach? So which one specifically?
We tend to go to Folly Beach outside of Charleston.
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. And what's your wildest dog story? So what's the wackiest thing your dogs have ever done?
We had a dog one time that loved paper towels to eat them. And one night my husband looked and he had a paper towel hanging out his butt. So my husband pulled it and another one popped out. It was the Selecta size ones.
Wow.
So that was kind of crazy.
Wow, your dog was an active paper towel roll holder.
Yes.
Amazing. Last question. Did your husband wipe his hands with the paper towel?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tell us your name.
Melissa Smith.
Tell us about your dogs, first with their names, please.
My dog is Bear.
Tell us about Bear.
Bear has a suede coat.
A suede coat?
Suede. He's suede colored.
So is he always suave in his suede coat?
No, he is not suave. He is undisciplined.
Okay. What kind of dog is Bear?
His mother is not talking.
Okay. And tell me about him. What's his story? Where did he come from?
Well, when I was working at the middle school, the librarian had puppies at home, and she posted pictures of the puppies, and everybody saw them, and my daughter said, "Can we go look at the puppies?" And my husband said, "You don't go to look at puppies. We can go pick out a puppy." So we went out and we picked out a puppy.
Do you travel with Bear?
I do travel with Bear.
Where do y'all go?
We come here to we come to the Tucker Brewery. We go to the mountains.
Which beer is his favorite here at the brewery?
He's a water guy.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, he's into water.
Okay. So where do you take him in the mountains?
I have a house up in the mountains.
Okay. If he could, where's his favorite spot in the world?
By my bed.
Okay. If you could take him anywhere in the world, where would you and Bear adventure to?
No, he just goes with me. I teach at the high school, so I take him to tennis matches and, wherever I can't take him into the stadiums, but...
How is he with tennis balls? Is he a freak about them?
He's not really interested in the tennis balls. He's interested in the tennis snacks.
I see. I see. Well, that's why I played tennis, for the snacks.
Yeah. He's into the snacks.
Of course. What's the wildest thing that Bear has ever done?
I baked a loaf of bread and left it on the island to cool, and it was in the middle of the island, and he was not full grown yet. And when I came back, the loaf pan was very neatly placed on the floor, and it was really clean. And the other dog, who's now deceased, the other dog was in the corner, and he was like, "I told him not to do it."
Right.
I told him not to do it.
Why is it that we can always tell which dog did it?
Because he's guilty.
Yeah.
He's guilty.
Yeah.
Because when you say someone ate the bread, he goes, I ate it.
Are you sure it wasn't because he wasn't laying there like a python with
No. He can,
a loaf inside?
No. He has no trouble eating that. And
I
he
see.
could eat several more. It'd be no problem.
Well, it sounds like you make good bread.
Yeah. So but the other dog was pretty clear about it. He's like, I told him to stay off the counter. I did.
How did he get his name?
He looks like a bear.
Mm-hmm. Well, signing off. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for chatting with us. Tell us your name.
Kerry Moscow.
And Kerry, tell us about your dogs.
I have 2 dogs. They are both rescues and both mixed breeds.
Okay, and do you travel with your dogs? Do you take them places?
Yeah, I take them a lot of places, and not only do I travel with them, like they lived with me in North Carolina, New Jersey, Los Angeles, North Carolina again, and Atlanta.
Oh wow, so they've covered some ground with you.
Yes, like they have driven across the country with me.
Do you feel, this is an interesting, I don't think I've had an opportunity to ask this question, do you feel like the dog owning experience has been different in state to state in any significant way? Like, would you say, oh, it's so much better in Georgia, or it was so much better in Los Angeles, or anything like that?
You know, I do feel like in LA it was extremely dog friendly, and maybe because there's so many restaurants, because the weather's nice year round, that dogs are welcome. And of the hiking, I went hiking with my dogs all the time, so it was very social. I've also found in Atlanta that there are a lot of dog friendly places too, though.
Sure, a lot of green spaces and parks and stuff in Atlanta, which is like more than average for a city, I feel like, in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's my favorite thing about Atlanta. I didn't realize that I was going to really like that here, that I can live in a city and be surrounded by parks and have a lot of trees, which is nice for me and the dogs.
Is there a place you've lived where you think kind of sucks for as far as dogs?
Yeah, up north for sure.
Really?
But Abby and Sophie, they were puppies then, and then when we lived in New Jersey.
Sorry.
Whenever it would snow in New Jersey, they really loved it.
Yeah?
They did. They would get really excited and run around in the apartment that I was in the courtyard and play, but that's definitely the least friendly place for a dog out of everywhere I've lived.
I would imagine that has to do with because it's so, I guess more condensed, everything seems closer and tighter up north.
Definitely. And I didn't notice it when I lived there, but when I moved away, the air is not as fresh either as it is at other places. And when I've gone back to visit, I've noticed that. I'm like, oh, there's definitely fresher air down south.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Have you gone on vacations with your dogs?
To the beach for sure. I'm trying to think. I haven't been flown with them anywhere on a vacation, but to the beach or to the lake, and it's fun. They enjoy the water as much as I do, and I'm slightly attached to them, so it's comforting to have them there as well.
Right?
They're my babies, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's nice for me to have some separation, just I guess when people have kids, the same thing, but.
Absolutely, just reasonable. Or from our significant others, or from whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a damn break.
Yeah.
From whatever it is, I get it. Now, is there any kind of crazy stories that have come from these trips? Anything that has happened that's a great lesson learned you want to share from these experiences, either the places you've lived or the trips you've gone with your dogs?
I can't think about a particular trip, but when I was traveling across the country, I would not always have an option of a dog-friendly hotel to stay in.
Right.
So I would sneak them in the side door of some places and have them spend the night. And I was only there to sleep, so it wasn't that big of an issue. But I remember, sneaking around. And I do remember at one place, and it was one of those outdoor, I guess it's a motel, and 2 of the maids saw me, and they were chasing me out, and then I freaked out, and I think I locked myself in the room for a few minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, the worst thing that can happen is they're going to charge me a fee.
Right.
But I do particularly remembering being really scared and not knowing what to do because I got busted.
Yeah, the hard part of that is you can't control the barking. I did the same thing with Stella once, where I was staying at some hotel, and I snuck her in the side door, got her up to my room because I just went up the stairwell, didn't take the elevator. But then I had to leave, and I knew I had to leave her there, and I left her in the bathroom. I'm like, if she starts barking, there's just nothing. I'm just busted.
Right. And now I do think that there are more dog-friendly hotels than there have been in the past. I do think it's more of a common thing. So if you are traveling, most likely, unless it's in a remote area, you'll probably be able to find somewhere. They're like, yeah, we accept dogs.
So one of the things that we're finding is a lot of places are more and more becoming dog-friendly. And I think because dogs are becoming more and more such a part of our families, that they're realizing, well, if we want these people to come here, they need to be able to bring their dogs. Which is great, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm totally into that.
Now, if you didn't have to worry about how you get there or any of that kind of stuff, if you go anywhere in the world with your dogs, where would you take them and why?
I love Hawaii, and I would want to go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I would love to have them in Hawaii. When I visited there before I moved away from Los Angeles, that was on my bucket list since I was closer. and my dogs stayed in my apartment in LA. And if I didn't have to go back and get my dogs, I would have sublet my room and stayed in Hawaii for 6 months. Like there's hiking there. They could go to the beach on the off season. The waves aren't big, so my dogs love the water, and it's just a really beautiful place.
Which island did you go to?
I was near Sunset Beach. What's it called, the biggest wave in Hawaii, where like the pipeline.
Yeah.
I was staying really close to pipeline.
That's Maui, isn't it?
So yeah, I'm trying to remember
Maui.
Maui. Yeah, so I was in Maui and staying. I think that's near Sunset Beach. I had a friend that had a house there, and I hiked wherever they filmed some scenes of Jurassic Park, like one of the Jurassic Parks. And when I went paddleboarding, I saw turtles that were bigger than my 12-foot paddleboard. It was crazy.
That's awesome. I've only been to Hawaii once, and it was the Big Island, and that was the place I would love to take Stella because there was such a phenomenal variety of landscape. I mean, you could go to the beach and then a rainforest, and then on the top of this one volcano where it's like Arctic up there, all in the same day. It was really phenomenal. So I think she would really dig getting to be in all those different environments, and God knows the different smells that she'd get to experience in a day.
We'll have to work that out when we get a private plane.
Yeah.
That we can take our dogs on board.
Yeah. And so one final question. You said both your dogs are pit mixes? Mm-hmm. And how many times have they been arrested?
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge with them wanting to get arrested. I ended up honestly registering both of my dogs as emotional support dogs.
Yeah.
And because it became an issue of where I was, about places that, since I'm not a homeowner, it would be different if I was a homeowner.
Right.
And I can't say that's dishonest because I really do need my dogs.
No, I completely think it's valid.
Yeah, and I mean, but that is what motivated me because the breed is, what's the word for it?
So much bad prejudice against them?
Yeah.
Discriminated against? Yeah.
And I do want to say, like, when I was working on One Tree Hill in Wilmington, and Abby was in the back lot in the woods, and the greensman brought her up to set. So she is a true rescue from the woods, and she was in really, really bad shape. And I know, she had a slight aggression towards males, so I think that she was abused by a male, and she was probably out there for a week. So I took her home, and then I had to keep her because we fell in love so much. But everyone from set said, "Don't take her home; she's gonna kill you."
Oh my God!
And she was a puppy. She was like 6 months old.
She's gonna go eat your face in her sleep or something.
Yeah.
How many human babies do you feed them in a week?
About 0.
Carrie, thanks so much for chatting with us. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us your name and tell us about your dog.
My name is Candy Hearn, and this is Bosley.
Bosley. What kind of dog is Bosley?
Bosley's a Yorkshire Terrier.
Super cute. Little boy?
He's a little boy.
Oh, hi, Bosley. Oh, Stella's very infatuated, I can tell.
He should be, because, he is a little man about town.
Oh, yeah? He makes the rounds with the ladies?
Oh, he tries.
Now, do you take Bosley with you everywhere you go?
Most places I go, yes.
What's your favorite place to take Bosley?
Well, he really enjoys doing this, going out and eating on patios is his favorite thing.
Yeah.
He does like going to the boutiques and go shopping.
Nice.
And he's even, and he gets in his little carrier and he goes just about in any store that we want to go to.
So he lives a good life.
He lives a very good life.
He looks like it. He's got a beautiful little bow. So, what's your favorite place to take Bosley?
Well, they closed the patio at my favorite restaurant.
What was that?
My favorite one was Brookwood Grill in Roswell.
Okay.
And they enclosed it, I guess, to make a meeting room. I enjoy that one a lot. Let's see. They have really great food, and it's not really a dog patio, but they allow you at Eclipse de Luna.
Oh, nice. Good to know.
And and they're wonderful food. We like to go where the food is good, and another good place is the Tree House in Buckhead.
Oh, yeah. Someone else mentioned that earlier, actually, ironically enough.
Yeah, that's a great place. Good food. Yeah, we like that one, and I guess that's about it because we kind of gotten tired of some of the other places.
Yeah, you go with what you know and what's comfortable.
Well, yeah, and we've gotten kind of tired of some of the older places.
Sure.
So,
I've been to Treehouse a few times, but I haven't been with Stella yet, so I need to make it a point to take her there.
Yeah.
Now, in all this travels with Bosley, have you learned any really valuable lessons you'd like to share with folks about taking their dogs places?
Well, I guess you have to treat them like they're children and respect other people. Now, I have 2 Yorkies. One is not like he is. He's really laid back, so nobody could really have any problem with him.
Right.
Right.
He's very chill.
Yeah, he's very chill. He's so used to going places. Yeah. So he was in a stroller, at 4 months old, so going out.
Looks like he's had a pretty spoiled life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you could take him anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter how you get there or whatever, but just anywhere you want to go, where would you take him and why?
Well, actually, we were supposed to leave for Paris on April 30th.
Oh, wow.
And we had done everything. He was reserved on the plane. His spot, he had a reservation. I had a reservation. We had hotels. We had absolutely everything. And dear Delta, when we asked about regulations, they told us a health certificate. Well, I used to show dogs and ship dogs years ago, and I knew what a health certificate was and had to be within 10 days. And my agent, who's a friend of mine, she called, we did a 3-way on her agent line, and they said health certificate. So 8 days before the flight, I went to get a health certificate and found out that he had to go to the USDA.
What?
So we were not able to go for 10 days in Paris.
Oh. Well, that's a bummer. Maybe another time, Bosley.
We rebooked it, but so we don't know when. We have rebooked it, but we were so looking forward to it. I mean, we had put so much into it.
Boo, Delta.
I know.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. It was a pleasure.
You are so welcome.
You guys have fun.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us your name and what you do.
My name's Ellie. I work here at Tucker Brewing, but my full-time job is at Paws Atlanta.
And you were hosting the dog-themed trivia tonight.
I was.
Was this your idea?
It's been mentioned in the past, but I got voluntold to do it tonight.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't even know till tonight that you were doing
Well,
this?
I knew when the schedule was put out a couple weeks ago. But
Okay.
Yes. So yes and no.
All right, nice. And so what do you do for Paws?
I'm an animal care specialist, so I take the dogs through their daily routine. I make sure that everything for them is clean and the way it needs to be, and then make sure they're fed and medicated appropriately. I try to socialize them and help them get over some of their hurdles that they have if they're more shy or more anxious, or some leash training, just trying to make them as happy and adoptable as possible.
So you meet a lot of dogs.
Yes.
Nice.
I deal with at least 20 plus dogs a day.
Wow. That sounds... I can imagine there's stressful parts of that, but also pretty awesome.
Yes, I love it. I left my corporate job to go work at Paws.
And been 1,000 times happier, I imagine?
Yes.
Good for you. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and then assume that you're a dog owner. So tell us about your dog.
Yes, I have 2 dogs. I have a Great Dane. She just turned 7. And then I have Amstaff, who turned 6. And our Pitty, he has kind of a complicated story. We found him running across the street, and the next day he was diagnosed with parvo, long story short.
Oh.
But he was in the hospital for a week, and now he is 6 years old and happy and derpy and cuddly as ever.
Good. I love it. Now imagine with the, each dog has kind of their own challenge as far as taking them out and going places with them. Tell me about that Great Dane. Is that a bit of a challenge as far as taking it places?
Oh no, she's my easy one. She gets a little stressed in the car, but
Yeah?
she does really well in the car still. And then once we get where we're going, if it's just one-on-one, me and her, or my husband and her, she does fine. But if her brother is there, she feels like she needs to protect him, and it causes some problems where she barks at strangers or feels like she has to be big and bad when really she's a giant chicken.
Sure.
She's a 100-pound scaredy cat.
Yep. Having a 60-pound pit bull, I completely understand the dynamic there of a dog that looks large and terrifying,
Right.
but absolutely is not.
Right. She's afraid of balloons and mop buckets. Those are her top 2 inanimate objects she's afraid of.
It's weird at home, so anything that I put in my hand is potentially scary for Stella. Like if it's a mop, if it's anything, or with a motor, like if it's the little hand vac, she hates it.
Even
we
a
have
tissue out of a box can scare mine.
Yeah. She's just weirded out and runs the other side of the room. But we have a little French bulldog named Remy, and short for Remington, and because he's very fancy.
Yes.
And so whereas Stella might bark and then run away from the little hand vac, he'll bark, and then I'll point it at him thinking like he'll run away and leave me alone, and he attacks it. He comes after like he's going to do something to stop that thing.
Right. My Dane is like Stella and would run away, or at least go lay on her bed and look scared. But then Krieger, my pit, he thinks it's a toy. He thinks it's a game. Whenever I'm vacuuming, if I'm using the hand tool like on the sofa or something, he keeps coming up to me and he wants me to vacuum him, and then he'll run away and then he'll come back. He wants me to do it again.
Yep. Oh yeah.
They are.
She loves the chase
so
game.
Different.
And then the agony of pit bull hair.
Yes, my cat is the worst out of shedding in the whole house.
Oh,
he
really?
puts out the most hair, and he is only 12 pounds.
But does it stick in things like pit bull hair does?
Cairo, my Dane, her hair is like needles, so it's the one that gets stuck in the fabric. Krieger, the pit, he doesn't shed that much, and it comes off pretty easy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Christy recently got, and it happened to me a couple weeks ago. Have you ever had this happen where a hair stuck in your foot?
No.
Like a splinter?
No.
It sounds like bullshit, but this is true story.
I'm sure.
Like, I had to literally dig a hair out of her foot like a splinter the other day.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can imagine.
So, where's your favorite place to take your pups?
To take mine, they like to go out and they like to walk, and they both like water. So we live in Gresham Park, and there's a nature trail not that far from us, so we'll walk the trail, but we have to stop in the creek on the way out and on the way back home. Have to.
Nice.
That's their favorite place, and that's where they're happiest because there's not too much foot traffic. There aren't many other dogs, so it's where they're most comfortable.
And where is this again?
Gresham Park. It's in East Atlanta area.
Okay, all right. I live kind of near Stone Mountain, so I guess probably not too far.
We're inside the perimeter.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And so what would you tell us, like any kind of tidbits of wisdom that you've learned in traveling with your dogs, or things that you'd like to share with folks that you think people need to know?
If you have larger dogs like I do, training from day one is essential.
Yeah.
Even though my dogs have anxiety for different reasons, whether it's nervous or excited anxiety, because one is 100 plus pounds, the other is 80 plus pounds, and one has a stigma of an aggressive breed, I worked very hard on making them be happy, well-balanced, and obedient. So
because you got to fight that aggressive breed stigma.
Right.
I know. I mean, it becomes a thing.
Yes, he's never had aggressive tendency. He's never bitten any human or animal, but I know that that's what people expect.
Right.
So when we go out, they walk perfectly on a leash, and when we're in public, they greet people well. When we're at home, they get real excited. But we have to work on that kind of training more so than someone who owns like a golden retriever. Of
course.
Just because of
or anything poodle or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I get it.
and regardless of the dog, if it's going to be large or it has a lot of energy, especially, you need to train from day one. You need to help your dog be well-rounded so that their life can be better.
Yeah, and exposure. I think the more that they're exposed to, the less afraid they are. The less afraid they are, the less aggressive they might be.
Right.
And that's going to be better for everybody.
And your dog doesn't have to go to the brewery, and they don't have to do all of these things that people want, but they need to be happy enough where you can at least put them in the car, or you can at least walk them, or you can take them to a friend's house. Like, not every dog is a dog park dog, but that doesn't mean that they can't go with you places or they can't live a happy life.
Amen to that. All right, final question. If you could take your dogs, regardless of how you get there, don't worry about it, they can teleport. It's a magical situation. Mm-hmm. Where would you take them and why? Anywhere in the world.
No specifics, but the beach. Like I mentioned earlier, both of my dogs love water, but I've never gotten to take them to a beach.
So a beach.
Yes, and hopefully one that has lots of room to run, and Cairo, my Dane, likes to splash.
An off-leash beach.
Yes, likes to splash. Krieger loves to swim, and he sinks, so he has to wear a life jacket, but an actual ocean beach. They've been to the lake. That's not as much fun as the ocean beach.
Now, important thing, do dogs know not to drink salt water?
I don't know, but I would hope they're smart enough to stop.
It's just not, yeah.
Yes.
It's probably something that we should all figure out and be aware of.
Right, hopefully. But yes, I definitely want to take my dogs to the beach. No specifics, but that's on their bucket list.
Nice. Well, I hope it happens.
Me too.
All right, Ellie. Thank you for talking with us. Pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, that wraps it up for this episode of Have Dog Will Travel. Brian, thank you very much for joining us.
That was fun.
Did you have a good time?
Well, yeah.
Did you learn some things?
Yeah.
Like what?
The beer here is really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
They got a beautiful beer garden here, so bring your dog to Tucker Brewing Company and come check it out. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all that is Have Dog Will Travel Podcast. And if you have any questions or comments about something you've heard in an episode and you would like to chime in and chat with us, please feel free to do so. Brian, hopefully I'll have you back again as a host another time.
You got it.
All right, so remember, if you want to take your dog on a trip, but you're worried it could all unravel,
just listen to us, Have Dog Will Travel.